What's up, everybody? Jacob, JK Productions. There's been a lot of predictions about where Tom Brady's going to go. A lot of Dolphins fans, I'm a Dolphins fan, have said he's going to come down here to Miami. A lot of people say he's going to the Raiders, stay in Tampa, retirement. To me, nothing makes more sense than the San Francisco 49ers, especially after what we saw yesterday. So the Niners lose yesterday, mostly in parts of the fact they're down to their fourth-string quarterback. They've had injuries kill the quarterback position, and they have a roster that could have won the Super Bowl if fully healthy and had a capable quarterback. I mean, I predicted them to get all the way to the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy. When Josh Johnson came in, yeah, obviously it was like, okay, this is a wrap. And then he gets hurt too, and it just wasn't meant to be. But even with Brock Purdy, I thought they were going to win yesterday against the Eagles, and that shows the strength that this 49ers team has. And it's going to be strong regardless of whether Brady comes in. Like, you look at their free agents this offseason. Like, obviously Garoppolo is going to be a free agent, but there are some dudes they do need to bring back. Jimmy Ward, Mike McGlinchey, Azeez Al-Shaair, Sam Ebukam. There's a few guys on the roster that they are going to have to bring back, but you have Fred Warner, you have Bosa, you have CMC, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle. There's a bunch of guys they're going to be there next year. They're going to be there no matter what, and that's a team that is going to be able to compete immediately again. Now, that first question I like to attack, because I know there's a few question marks that's going to be raised as soon as you bring this up, is, well, what about Brock Purdy? What about Trey Lance? What about Jimmy G? Where does Jimmy G go? I think Jimmy G walks. I think that's the clearest, most obvious answer. He goes to a team like the Jets, like Washington, that has some decent weapons and a good defense on the other side, and teams that certainly can make the playoffs with a quarterback like Jimmy G just facilitating the offense, getting the ball in the hands of their weapons. I think he goes and signs like a 1 or 2 year deal with a team, a prove it type deal, and then goes on with his career. The other guys, starting with Brock Purdy, I don't see any reason Brock Purdy can't be on this team again next year and do the same exact role that he did this year. If he needs to come in, he comes in and he plays well. He is going to be looked at like the perfect backup quarterback, because he doesn't have the upside that, just easy comparison would be Trey Lance. He doesn't have the athletic mobility. He doesn't have the arm. He doesn't have this crazy talent that Trey Lance does that has all this upside. He has a really high floor. He's also very poised, and he doesn't make a lot of turnovers. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and that's something the 49ers offense that they need. They need their quarterback to be efficient, just get the ball into the hands of their playmakers, and then they'll have a lot of success. I think Brock Purdy can come back and do that. It's the very same thing with the 49ers if he's asked to step into the role. There's no reason for him to be leaving after the season he's had. And if they do choose to roll with him as a starting quarterback, I think they can win a lot of games. Maybe win a Super Bowl, maybe not. I'm not sure. Obviously, Brady gives him a better chance. And then Trey Lance. What do you do with Trey Lance? You traded 3 first-round picks for him. You moved up in the draft, and you're going to be moving off from him already. I like Trey Lance as a prospect. He's got a lot of talent. It's very raw right now. We don't know exactly where it's going. I think you can look to a team like the Colts that would be willing to dish out their first-round pick, which is a top 5 pick, get some more compensation, and you bring Tom Brady in for 2 years, have Brock Purdy back him up, and then once Brady leaves, you just go from there. You just accept your losses that, yeah, you overpaid for Trey Lance, and it's not working out. He had his opportunity this year. When he did come in, he didn't fit the 49ers scheme. He is a mobile quarterback with a big arm. He's a playmaker. The 49ers don't need a playmaker. They need somebody who can give the ball to their playmakers. It's obvious that they whiff with this one a little bit, even though he's an incredibly talented player, and I think he can have success in the league. A team like Indianapolis makes a lot of sense. Houston, if they prefer him over CJ Stroud, as I assume the Bears are going to trade their first pick to either the Colts or Houston or somebody else looking to draft a quarterback. I think that makes a lot of sense for teams to go out and pursue him, because he does have all that talent. He has athletic ability. He has the arm. He has all the things that you're looking from a college quarterback to come into the pros to do. But he does require a little bit of work. So those guys, keep Brock, move off of Purdy, and then you bring Brady into a team that it has everything Tom Brady needs. You start off with the defense. They're 5th in points allowed this year. They've had the most interceptions, 2nd most turnovers, 1st in points allowed. They're top 5 in so many statistical categories. They're great against the run. They're not so great against the pass, 23rd against the pass, but I've only allowed 5 passing, or are 5th in the league in passing touchdowns, 1st in red zone. This is a phenomenal defense. You got to keep Ebukam, you got to keep Al-Shaair, you got to keep Ward. and add to it if you can. So hopefully they'll be able to do that. They're not in the worst cap space situation in the world. They have just around $13 million in cap space. So obviously, they got to sign Brady, and they got to make roster moves here and there. So probably one of those guys ends up walking. But we saw the Buccaneers did. They had negative cap space, and they figured how to bring everybody back. So if they can do it, if what the Rams have done these last few years, I think the 49ers can find a way to sign all those guys, go all in right now, and bring in Tom Brady. Tom Brady, yeah, he started to look his age a little bit this year, but also he had a horrible offensive line in front of him. Had 3 starters, I believe, out majority of the year. You look at the 49ers, you have the best left tackle in the entire league, first team All-Pro Trent Williams. Hopefully they bring back Mike McGlinchey. They got a great line that would be in front of Tom Brady, and he just needs to drop back and hit his receivers and let them make plays. They have the big play offense in front of him that is going to be needed to give Tom Brady success. And if I'm Brady, football-wise, I don't know why there's anywhere else in the league I'd rather go. The only thing I'd say non-football-wise, emotionally, is his sons will be living with Giselle down in Miami. And that's one of the things I talked about with Tom Brady coming down to Miami is, do you want to be that far from your family? Now, we know he's chosen football over family once before, and doing this again would, it would be kind of on brand of him. But when does that eventually start to kick in? As a father, I barely got to see my kids grow up. It's ruined my marriage. Do I really want to go out and just continue to put my body on the line, continue to take these shots from these athletic defensive linemen? We've seen the damage that they can do just because of the fact they're huge humans. Like, again, as a Dolphins fan, I've seen what they can do to Tua. Now, Brady's done a really good job at getting down and not taking these big hits, but eventually he's got to start asking questions. When is it truly enough? I don't think he's going to have that answer this year. I think he's going to come back. And to me, the San Francisco 49ers, there is not a single team in the league I'd rather go to if I'm Tom Brady. They have everything. The defense. I love Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan gets a lot of crap sometimes. I'll take a coach who's gotten to two NFC Championship games back-to-back years, who's gotten to a Super Bowl in the last 5 years. Yeah, he's fallen short of the finish line a lot. He also hasn't had the quarterback he's wanted. He wanted Kirk Cousins. Even then, I don't think that was a great idea. He brings in Jimmy Garoppolo. That clearly hasn't worked. He's brought in Trey Lance. He doesn't fit the system. He's brought in Brock Purdy. He's limited. Every single guy he's been able to bring in, they've been limited in some fashion. I mean, even Matt Ryan, when he had him with the Atlanta Falcons as offensive coordinator, he was a very limited quarterback. They nearly got to the hump and then just fell short. And, his passive play calling in the second half, that time I can put that more on Kyle Shanahan. But his downfalls with the San Francisco 49ers, if you even want to call him that, he hasn't had the quarterback. It's a coach quarterback league. You pair up Kyle Shanahan, the offense he's drawn up, the running game, the receivers, the defense on the other side, and you give him the greatest quarterback of all time, I don't see how that doesn't result in a Super Bowl.